Welcome to the Obesity Matters Wellness Workshop, where we embark on an incredible journey together towards better health and wellness. Whether this is your first time or you have been with us since we started this program, we are grateful you are here. My name is Rachel. I'm the Vice Chair of Obesity Matters, and I am your host for this program. Today's topic is breathe, move, reconnect, finding your way back to you. It's a little bit of a different format today. And to help us with today's session, really to run today's session, I'd like to introduce you to our guests today, Deanna Scharpf and Erin Jacob. Please tell us a little bit about yourselves before we dive in. Erin, would you like to start?
Thank you so much. And hello, everybody. Good morning to all us West Coasters and good afternoon to everybody else. It's so nice to be here. And it's always an honor to get to come on and be part of such a great team for such a beautiful presentation. So thank you for having me. My name is Erin Jacob, and I am a certified yoga therapist from BC. And I actually began my movement and breathwork practice pretty vigorously and very young when my parents put me in martial arts as a kid. And then as a teenager, I actually suffered a really debilitating injury. And I was basically told I should prepare myself for several surgeries and ultimately a life confined to a wheelchair. I lost a major amount of my mobility, and a huge amount of my lung capacity was dramatically reduced due to scar tissue from the injuries. And things were looking pretty bleak. It was a pretty bleak start. So that's when I found yoga, and specifically yoga therapy. And its holistic approach to movement and breath work really helped to get me back on track. And the past 20 years of practice have really helped me to find my way back to myself and to cultivate the healthy, happy person I am today, here to enjoy this session with all of you guys.
Thank you, Erin, and welcome back, because you've been with us before. So pleased that you're here. Deanna, how about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Deanna, and I am the founder and lead trainer of my very own fitness company, Train with D. I'm actually based in Toronto, so not West Coast timing for me, but that's okay. And I have a few trainers across the GTA to help you with your fitness journeys. I've now been a part of a few Obesity Matters events, so hopefully I'll recognize a few of your faces on the screen. And I've had such a great time connecting with the community about providing education and resources to those that are looking to learn more about fitness. So I have been building my business since 2017, and I help those looking to gain confidence, learn to move their bodies, which we're going to get into today, as well as get stronger, which is so empowering. And what has always inspired me to explore movement actually was when I was dealing with chronic hip and knee pain at the very young age of 20, which is very surprising, but there were nights I could barely sleep and days I could barely walk. I vividly remember a hiking trip in California, and I literally couldn't do it. So I decided to get myself certified and learn as much as I could about my specific condition, and now I'm able to help others do the same. So thank you, everyone. And Rachel, I'm so excited and looking forward to our time together today.
My first question is, many people feel like movement has to be intense to be effective, which is kind of was my surprise, right? What would you say to someone who still equates exercise with punishment?
Very good question. I completely understand why some might feel that way. I feel that way about certain exercises for sure myself. I believe for a long time, the fitness industry and even how we were taught about exercise back to maybe when we were in school, it often presented as something you had to do. It was like a chore, right? Like something you have to endure, or even something you use to make up for what you've eaten. So it was often tied to things like intense pain, extreme weight loss, or achieving a specific look, which can definitely feel like a punishment. We're taking the joy out of it, right? So what I like to challenge that idea. And I love that a few people at the beginning of class today, they were saying that they're grateful. I love, that emotional tie to exercise as well, because thank God we can move, right? We're still able to move in some capacity. Once that is taken away from you, you'll crave it, right? So let's thank our bodies. Movement does not have to be a punishment. It is a gift to your body, I believe. think about what your body is capable of. It helps you walk, it helps you pick things up, it helps you play with loved ones and simply live your life, right? So when we move, we're not punishing our bodies, we're appreciating them, we're taking care of them and helping them function better. I always say to my clients that you should enjoy the exercise you choose, okay? So I do a lot of, like, for example, I train a lot of functional strength. If you do not like going to the gym and lifting weights, there's too much of a roadblock already. And I would say be curious about it, maybe try it a few times. But if you're someone who loves to walk or to run or to do Pilates, do that. Do something that actually really brings you joy, and then you'll just see yourself succeed. So there's so many options. Don't just tie yourself down to think like I can only pound weights in the gym and then my weight might change. Like that is not it, right? So it's so much your mental toughness and what you want to accomplish and how to stay happy. I would say it does not need to be intense to be effective. That is my long-winded answer. Thank you.
Oh, I think I just had an aha moment. Deanna, you reminded me of probably what originally set my perspective and thoughts around exercise was gym class. And, you know, as someone who kind of felt a little bit shy about the body I was living in and the expectations in gym class and your comparison to other people in your class and just the anxiety that I felt around that. I mean, it was unbelievable. And that really set the stage. I know I continue to think about the word gym and exercise, neither of which go well with me. It's good to know sort of the root of maybe some of those really bad connotations when it comes to both of those words. So Erin, over to you. I have a question for you. We often hold tension without realizing it. What are some everyday signs that our body or our breath might be asking us to pause and reconnect?
Great question. And really, what we talked about in our breath mindfulness today, if we are facing experiences that are negative emotions, for one, right? I mean, one of those really common things that people get into a habit of is chronic activation of the sympathetic nervous system, right? Where we get so used to feeling stressed out that we start to perpetuate stress all of the time in our thoughts. And I don't know, you can raise your hands for anybody I can see on the screen who's felt this way. Anybody ever wake up and the first thing they think in the morning is, oh my God, all these things I have to do, right? If that's a habit to the way your sympathetic nervous system works, then you could be chronically perpetuating stress in your nervous system that doesn't really need to be there. So being more aware of our emotions, right? It sounds so simple. Some of you guys might be familiar with the new polyvagal theory, the new scientific theory on how the nervous system works. And one of the things that it teaches that's really wonderful for nervous system regulation is learning to name your emotional state. It sounds so simple, but it's very profound because quite often we're walking through having these feelings, responding from an emotional place without even actually recognizing what is that emotion. Is it stress? Is it anxiety? Is it worry? Is it frustration? Is it anger? Right? These are all emotions of the sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight response. And these would be signs that probably our breath is short, shallow, rapid, right? And so we could notice it from the breath and the emotion. And when our sympathetic, our fight or flight is overactive, then what we can do about it is to slow down. We can take that long exhalation, that very calm breath, because the breath directly communicates to the nervous system and can override and help it to regulate, making it easier to achieve a different emotional state or to calm an emotional state down. And then polyvagal theory teaches us it's not so black and white of just fight or flight and rest and digest. It acknowledges a third division of the nervous system, what they call the dorsal vagus nervous system. And this is where we would see a very different response for things like depression, a lack of motivation, dissociation, an inability to connect, an inability to trust, an inability to get motivated and get moving, right? You just can't get yourself off the couch today, right? And in these kind of cases, right, again, recognizing this state of our nervous system by naming the emotion. And once we name the emotion, well, if we are in this, more depressed, kind of a little bit down area of our emotions, what our nervous system needs is to get mobilized, right? In this system of the nervous, or this part of the nervous system, they would call it an immobilization. This is where we would see freeze, play dead, or fawn responses come from. So if you're in freeze or fawn, what we need to do is get mobilized. And so this is where we need our powerful breathing. We can connect to a bigger, fuller, more forceful breath, which tells the nervous system, get moving, it's time to mobilize. In reality, what it'll do is it'll turn your sympathetic nervous system online and allow you to regulate back into the parasympathetic again to get calm. So if we're in a place of we're feeling really down and really blue, we can mobilize to get ourselves back to regulated. Whereas if we are overstimulated and we are in fight or flight supreme, we can downregulate. We can calm through the breath. So learning to name your emotional state and then learning to make peace with it. Recognizing that, we can't just be attached to the good emotions all the time. We all would love to just be happy, enthusiastic, motivated, and energetic all the time, but that's not life. That's not reality.
I feel like I'm in a therapy session today because I keep having these aha moments. It's like, oh yeah, the chronic stress piece, and then using breath as a tool to deregulate yourself, right? Because I often, in stressful situations can find myself overreacting to something where I know I shouldn't have that high of a reaction, but it's related to chronic stress. So I love that. Thank you so much. Actually, the next question, I think you've already touched on it, but if there's anything else you'd like to say, for someone just starting to build a compassionate relationship with their body, what's one small shift that you would recommend?
Self-kindness. Absolutely, the ability to be kind to yourself, because really if you take a look at what's going on in the mental process and the mental habit, right? Thoughts can be a habit just as much as anything else. Stress can be a habit just as much as anything else. And when we make a habit of every time we are, thinking about ourselves, of allowing those thoughts to be kind. Right? Maybe you're not exactly where you want to be today. Maybe if you got to choose exactly how your body functioned and how everything was working, right? Maybe we choose something different. Right? We don't always get to choose these things, but what we can choose is how we show up for ourselves. Right? So no matter what the situation is, if we can view it from a place of compassion, I always say, treat your body like it was your child or the person you love most in the world. And if you were facing them and they were having the day that you're having, and they're feeling what your body is feeling or what your emotions are feeling, would you be like, oh my God, shut up and stop complaining, nobody cares, just get up and get on with your day? That's pathetic. How would your daughter feel, or your son feel, or your loved one feel? That would be emotionally crushing and would probably ruin the rest of their day, week, life, right? But if we took that same child or friend or loved one and we felt compassion to what they were feeling, and we gave them a big hug, and we told them, hey, you know what, it's okay. You are where you're at today, and it's absolutely fine. Right? Don't worry about it. Do your best. We have that little pep talk, right? We're different to the people we love than we are sometimes in our own inner dialogue. But when we shift the inner dialogue to self-kindness and self-compassion, then we actually do really set the stage for all healing to begin and for all growth to begin.
And thank you, Erin and Deanna. I hope that everybody got to take away a little something about perhaps how they want to go about reconnecting with themselves. Thank you for joining us today. Remember that our journey towards better health and wellness is not a solitary one. We are here to support and uplift one another. See you next time.